remember way back when we were just hoping we'd get a COVID vaccine, no talk about whether we'd take it up. An mRNA vaccine was one of the experimental technologies put forward. Now it's the best thing we have against COVID. So far, no major side effects, and on top of that, it can be retooled within 6 weeks for new variants. So where is Australia at on producing this type of vaccine? Joining me live now, Shadow Industry and Innovation Minister Ed Husic. Thanks for your time.
Tom.
You've been pressing the Minister about this week. He has said consortia have to come back within 8 weeks, so relatively short time frame on the proposal, and he's hoping the build time might be 12 to 18 months. So what's your response to that?
I'd just bring him back to the comments of the person he replaced, Karen Andrews, who, when speaking to the media in October last year, said it would take about 9 to 12 months. They were expecting manufacture of mRNA onshore in 9 to 12 months, and that clearly hasn't happened. And on top of that, the industry department, when before estimates, said if you're going to build from scratch, like a greenfield site, to get this stuff done at scale, it'd take up to 4 years. And we saw a lot of nifty dancing by Christian Porter yesterday, I should say, when I asked him that question. But the reality is it's going to take some time, and these people are not making a move on. There's no urgency. There's no sense of getting this stuff done quickly, because it is going to be important in terms of opening up the community, the economy, getting it roaring again. We need this stuff done on shore. But
when you say there's no sense of urgency, I mean, when you've got the bidding process and 8 weeks to put what is going to be a very detailed process, you don't want to do that in a week and rush it. You want the best proposal that's actually fleshed out. What's wrong with that time frame?
I'm not saying to rush it. I'm saying do it in the time frames that you flagged back in October last year. I mean, they said 9 to 12 months. They said that it would be done in this time frame, and they haven't done it. It's like when they said that we'd be on the front of the queue for vaccines, and they said we'd get so many people vaccinated by March and that we'd get the country done by October. I mean, every time they make an announcement, and this is my issue, they make it for the sake of getting the good media headlines, but really there are a lot of people depending on these decisions to be landed, followed through, achieved.
Right.
And this is the issue.
But when you say they haven't done it, when you say 9 to 12 months, he hasn't done it, nobody was actually confirming we'd make one until very recently. Labor wasn't even calling for it until a month or two ago. So it wouldn't be done now, would it? Let's just clarify that.
No, I agree that it's going to take, based on what you were saying in your previous question about the amount of time to go through the process of inviting the companies and so forth. Yeah, absolutely, it'll take some time. But my point is, these caveats, these qualifications were not made last year when the former industry minister gave a time frame. And really, we do need to see a better lot of performance out of the feds on both vaccine and national quarantine. This needs to happen quicker. We cannot have the country continually shut off from the rest of the world. We need to get a move on.
But when you say quicker, we don't even have a time frame set. What are you saying? That 4 years is unacceptable, that 1 year is unacceptable? I mean, these are big, complicated projects. The government wants to get it done as soon as possible. There's no indication they're cost-cutting to make it go longer. They're just maybe finding out it's trickier than they first thought.
I totally get that it's complex. But the point I would make is you can't have one industry minister say it's going to take 9 to 12 months, the new industry minister say, well, it might be 12 months, and their department say to estimates it could be 4 years. Just be straightforward.
Maybe that's the parameter. If things go really well and supplies come in.
I'll just finish this point. Just be straightforward. Don't talk up stuff you know you can't deliver, because there's a lot riding on it. Again, I come back and I'm not going to sit here and say we can click our fingers, but don't make like you can achieve this, and be straightforward with the Australian people about when this can be achieved. As I said, in terms of opening up the economy, vaccinating the nation, making sure we're in a stronger position and we're not left behind when the rest of the world's roaring ahead on vaccinations. We just can't have that.
A couple of other quick points. UK trade deal. You've posted perhaps your cynicism around how good this deal will be. You mentioned, they talked up the China deal so much and now China's blocking our exports. I mean, China's actually contravening the deal. It doesn't mean the deal was any good. It means the Chinese Communist Party's decided to punish us over trade, doesn't it?
I think a lot of people hear all the hype around these trade deals and wonder if it actually amounts to much. And I think and I've said this, in previous conversations you and I have had and elsewhere, we need to have a lot more detail about these trade deals. This thing was pretty much other than the glowing media reports that were leaked out from the government because it was self-serving to do so, we've had very little public engagement on how this is shaping up, what's in the scope of it, where's the economic modelling to demonstrate the actual benefits to the nation. And I think if you look at the China agreement, if it was so good, how did it happen? How does it happen that we can have a major trading partner in China, stop our coal from being unloaded, refuse to take wine, beef, barley? The trade agreements need to actually deliver.
But the Chinese trade agreement did deliver. It turbocharged trade. Some would say it's got trade too high and we're too reliant on them. So the trade element of the China deal was absolutely delivered, wasn't it?
I would want to see, and particularly there'll be a lot of Australian workers that want to see trade deals deliver seriously for them. If we want to rebuild manufacturing, what will be the benefit for Australian manufacturing?
Yeah.
I noticed
the detail matters, and we don't have that.
And another point I'd make is that they're so quick to announcement. They've announced all these visa arrangements as part of a whole solution to deal with labour shortages on farms. We had 20,000 Pacific Island workers that were supposed to be here to fix this up. I mean, David Littleproud announced this. Where has it ended up? Now we've got
part of the issue is states allowing the workers in.
Oh yeah, that they came up with that when it wasn't working.
Well, but some states are not letting people in.
Now they're saying that the UK will sort this out, and ASEAN. They always make these announcements,
but
and they
some
never
states
deliver.
aren't letting the workers in. That's up to the states.
They never deliver, Tom. They make the announcements and they don't deliver. Okay.
But if a state doesn't let a worker in, that's not the federal government's fault.
Let me come to your point about the states. So David Littleproud used the quiet time in January to bag out Victoria since at that point in time about not letting people in. It's been 6 months. Where are we at in the numbers? I mean, he should have had people on farms through this arrangement, Pacific Island arrangement. Now he's gone off and got the new shiny thing of the UK agreement plus ASEAN. These people have a very big, there's a lot of hype and not much heft, not much detail, not much follow through.
All right. Nearly out of time. Very quickly, family from Queensland, Mark Killian trying to visit his father. He's dying. He looks days away from death. He was given an exemption from border control, border force. He and his wife vaccinated, got the negative test. At the last second, denied an exemption from Queensland Health. They say go into quarantine for 14 days.
Well, firstly, I absolutely feel for him and I understand that. And I've represented people in the reverse situation trying to get out of the country. So I know how difficult this must be for them. Obviously, with the states, they're trying to weigh up health advice and the way that they manage these things. And really, it'll really be the Palaszczuk government will respond, no doubt, and take on board all those issues. And I hope that they do take on board.
All we do is get a blanket response from Queensland Health saying 2 lines, basically.
Well,
shouldn't there be a method by now to do this that's pretty safe? Well, you can say go in PPE, do all that, but visit your dying father.
Well, if I can finish the statement I was going to make, we'll wait for the Palaszczuk government to see how they manage this and take on board all the issues. And absolutely, we should have national processes, and absolutely the National Cabinet should deal with it. Why isn't it?
Ed Husic, thanks for your time.
Good on you.